Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 134 of the J Situation Podcast. I'm recording this on October 11th, 2022. Good afternoon, friends. Or when you're listening to this, good morning. You're in the future. That's right. It is time this afternoon or this morning to speak about the glorious pastime that is suppressed small arms. That's right. I hope you are doing well. You know, I am. Man, did you know? So I've been, me and one of my gun friends, we've both had these HK Mark 23 pistols on order for I don't know, months, right? And so we're still waiting for them. And every time we see someone post about a Mark 23, we'll tag each other and we'll be like, oh man, what a tease. We're just, all we want is hand cannons, right? Well, guess what? I'm totally buying a Knight's Armament Mark 23 silencer. I'm so excited. I found a guy is selling his, and so I'm going to buy it from him. I'm super stoked. So when I get that in and I get the Mark 23 in, you're going to see a sound signature review on it. Oh, it's going to be cool. And it's just for posterity, I'm going to do that. And it's going to be awesome. So yeah, that's just a little bit of weird old silencer trivia for you about a silencer and gun combination that is really not practical at all, but very cool. Yeah. So anyway, on with the show. Join me, won't you, as we dive deeper into the obsession that is suppressing combustion from weapon systems for joy and practicality. This episode of the podcast is brought to you by High-End Armament Technology. That's right, a dealer of exactly that, high-end arms and accessories. They have significant longevity in the machine gun and NFA game, as well as significant expertise in both the procurement and operation of night vision, thermal optics, and infrared sighting systems. They do. Robert and his crew have decades of experience and actual knowledge of the gear. If there's a weapon system that's rare and you're having trouble locating it, or maybe you want to get into night vision or thermal, or maybe the transferable machine gun game, one of your first stops should be High-End Armament. You should give them a call, okay? Check them out at highendarms.com, on Instagram at highendarms, and they have a Facebook page, which is also High-End Arms. I hope they can help you folks out. If you need it, tell them Jay sent you. And the J Situation Podcast is proudly sponsored by Silencer Shop. You can use their kiosk to your fingerprints and photos electronically, and in turn, you cut down on errors, you simplify your silencer purchasing process. You get a money-back guarantee. It's great. No transfer fees, no paperwork errors, just you and your silencer with no drama. It truly is silencer ownership simplified. And if you guys want to save some money, if you're buying ammo or mags or something like that, check out True Shot Gun Club out of Arizona. There's a link in the show notes on the website. In each of the show notes for each episode in your podcast app or however you listen to this podcast. If you buy ammo using those links, it helps the podcast. It helps Pew Science. If you do want to join their A-Zone Club to get free shipping on all the ammo you purchase through a whole year, if you use code word Pew Science, you get $20 off that membership. So that's actually pretty cool, right? You win, they win. You help the podcast. Easy. Also, if you buy Magpul stuff, use code word PSTEN. That's PS and the word 10 to get $10 off your order of $100 or more at magpul.com. That's right. It's better than nothing. Don't look at the gift horse in the mouth. And always, this podcast is, of course, brought to you by Pew Science, pushing the silencer industry forward one test at a time. Visit pewscience.com for the suppression rating, the simplest and the most accurate hearing safe ratings for your suppressed small arms based on true human inner ear response from the entire gunshot. From before combustion takes place all the way until all the combustion is gone. We use the whole gunshot. We're not trying to pull wool over your eyes here at Pew Science. We're going to show you the whole gunshot, the entire thing. That's right. It's the only way to do it. And that's why we've always done that from the very beginning in the first review you ever saw published on the website. It's the home of the Silencer Sound Standard. There's 7 sections. It's the most in-depth and accurate silencer data and analysis in the world. Check it out at pewscience.com. You can support this podcast, Pew Science, and all the testing I do by joining with a membership at pewscience.com. There's even a donate feature on the review page and the podcast page. Every little bit helps. And something that's free, doesn't cost you anything. Please rate this podcast 5 stars on iTunes and Spotify. And it will let folks know that silencers and guns are awesome, and we will one step closer to normalizing the use of suppressed small arms. Okay, 3 topics for you today. It's going to be a quick one this week, but I want to do something a little differently, talk to you about some stuff conceptually. Topic 1, general suppressed small arm loudness. Expectations for new silencer users. I want to talk about this. Like, what's a good first silencer? I get asked often. And when I answer that, I usually don't answer it. Let's go over the proper use of the rankings table at pewscience.com. Okay, I want to do that in that topic. Topic 2, new sound signature review this week? Oh boy, howdy, there it is. Long awaited? Yes. Yes, friends. It's good to be able to put a pin in some things, I think, that you folks have asked about. So yeah, we're gonna release a review this week. It will be talked about. Topic 3, whitetail deer hunting seasons all over the United States are kicking off. They are. And, the rifle seasons are going to happen very soon. Are you ready to hunt suppressed? Or are you still holding out? Yeah, I don't know. You might be. And if so, maybe you consider a silencer for the next season, okay? I think the Pew Science effort with member support has created an ecosystem in which your kit selection should be easier than ever when it comes to hunting. I mean, there's no excuse now. I mean, you have so much information, so we'll talk about that. Okay, let's move into topic 1 at a time of 6 minutes. Oh, I didn't hit the mark. At a time of 7 minutes and 4 seconds. Time keeps marching on, despite our human capabilities. Okay, I have some family in town today, so I'm recording this podcast relatively early in the day. It's still light outside, which is odd. So we're going to get this done. I'm going to go drink and be merry, as it were. Okay. Topic 1, general suppressed small arm loudness. That's right. Expectations for new silencer users. People always ask me, what's a good first silencer? And I often say, I don't know. What are you doing with it? And we have a whole conversation, We have a rankings table. You want to talk about it? Let's talk about it. Frankly. I get a lot of first-time silencer buyers or people completely new to silencers who message me. I do. And I love to interact with you folks, and I try to respond to all the messages you send me. I got a lot, okay? If you email me, I am much more likely to respond because email is the official communication method for Pew Science. If you were not aware of that, Facebook messages are almost never checked. So if you're messaging me on Facebook, I'm not seeing that. You probably. Now, Instagram DMs are checked a lot because, who doesn't love the gram? But many do get missed nonetheless. So email is king, and it's superior for me for searching and cataloging things. So, if you're going to send me something on social media and think that I can remember it and then go find it, guys, there's no method to do that. I got to scroll through DMs. I can't search. It's terrible. Okay, imagine for you it's not hard. For me, assuming for you it's not hard. For me, I got hundreds and hundreds of DM conversations. What? I'm gonna remember exactly who you were and exactly what you asked, and dude, it's a problem. So I'm not saying never DM me. Don't get me wrong, DM's great because I love to banter with you folks about general goings on and the firearm world as it turns, the silencer world as it turns. I enjoy speaking with you about all kinds of things. I'm just saying, questions that are really important, email. And guess what? The pro membership level of Pew Science gets you to the front of the line because they pay for me answering. All the other guys that are always emailing me, I'm like, that's cool, I will answer you, but there's a pro membership level and it's not that much more. Just so you know. Even so, with with the challenges of these different communication media at scale, I do get a lot of folks new to silencers reaching out to me everywhere. I mean, it's really by any means necessary, and I will interact. And a lot of the questions a lot of the questions I used to get when I first started doing this was, which silencer's quietest? And then I started answering and reposting it publicly and saying, like, use the rankings table. And now often what I get is, which silencer is the best for blank? And they say something. Or another really popular one I get recently is, what's a good first silencer? What's a good starter silencer? People say. It's interesting. What an interesting question. And so what I thought I'd do this podcast is I wanted to address this line of questioning all at once, like at a high level. And I want to tell you, if you are not shooting 22 like subs from a bolt action with a silencer, like if you're not doing that, a suppressed gunshot's going to be much louder than you think it is. Okay? Firearms are weapons. And I sometimes I think, I know you guys know that, and I don't want to patronize, but I think sometimes people are forgetting this. Firearms are weapons, and they're created to kill. They're not toys. And so when you install a silencer on a firearm, you're suppressing the combustion event in order to reduce your signature. But make no mistake, the system it's still a weapon. Okay? It's a weapon system. It's not a toy. It's loud, and it's dangerous. All right? And it's intended to be dangerous. Okay, suppressed small arms are still small arms, and their purpose is to kill. Okay, their purpose is to kill. So I want to start off this conversation. There's a lot of people that are new to these types of things. I want to start off by making sure you understand that never forget the purpose of guns. They're to kill things. Okay, once you understand that part, everything, and then once you understand that everything is loud, it's good to have some frame of reference though too. And I want to talk about that because I know talking in these general terms is hard. So we're gonna get deeper. So what I'm probably gonna end up doing eventually is do some suppression ratings of various things like nail guns and stuff like that. Okay, so people can understand the hearing damage potential of those types of things that they may use, and I use that specifically a nail gun because it's an impulsive. It generates impulsive noise. Like if you ever shoot a nail gun into wood when you're doing flooring or something, like I don't know how many people have done that, but or like you're making a wood deck. I don't know how many people used a nail gun. Surprisingly, probably not a lot of people. I don't know like what the crossover is between people who listen to this podcast and people who've used nail guns, but I assume there's some kind of crossover. But it can be close, kind of, sort of, to the type of sound that someone would hear if maybe someone was shooting a full-size suppressed 9mm pistol silencer near them, like on a pistol. Okay, and when I say pistol, I mean literally a pistol, a handgun, not that stupid term people use for guns that have braces on them. No. You can almost guarantee that 99.9% of the time when the word pistol comes out of my mouth, I'm talking about a handgun. It's like so ridiculous. If you are the shooter, though, and you're shooting a suppressed 9mm pistol, it's probably going to be louder to you than like a nail gun would be to you. Okay? Now, so let me back up. When I was using this original nail gun analogy, I'm like, yeah, if someone's shooting a nail gun, it's kind of what a 9mm pistol, with a silencer on it with subsonic ammo kind of sounds like, more or less. I'm not saying it's equal. I'm not saying the suppression rating is the same. I'm just saying like that's a ballpark type of noise that's similar, or that can be similar. Okay, if someone was shooting that nearby you, but if you're the shooter, if you have a 9mm pistol and you're shooting it and you put a silencer on it, even with subsonic ammunition, it's probably going to be louder to you than it is to a bystander. Because most 9mm pistol silencers on 9mm handguns have enough flow restriction, okay, or back pressure that the ejection port signature can be severe. Okay. And what that can do is it can make shooting a suppressed 9mm pistol one of the loudest suppressed firearms many people at large will shoot. And that's something that a lot of people don't know before they get into silencers. And I want you guys to understand this, how important this is. Okay? And there's data on pewscience.com, but I'm talking big picture right now, okay? One second. But I'm telling you, like, for most people, this is completely contrary to their expectations. But it's true. In fact, you know what? Don't just take my word for it. Let's go to pewscience.com/rankings and look at the rankings table at large. I'm going to do that. I'm going to open a browser window right now. I'm going to go to pewscience.com. I'm going to hover over the rankings. Let's just go. We'll go to the rankings table, the rankings section, that is. Okay. Let me arrange this window so I can properly dictate. Okay, my computer's freaking out. 1 second. Okay, we're going to go ahead and do that. Boom. Okay. And let me just make sure that's still recording. Okay. I haven't closed that. Scroll down. Okay. I am now viewing the entirety of the rankings table. It's really long. Can't even fit the whole thing on one page now. Isn't that cool how many data points we have? Now, before we even talk about the rankings table, let's talk about the suppression rating. Okay? We have a dose chart, and maybe I should pull one of those up. All right, 1 second. Let me pause this 1 second. Okay, I'm back. So what I did is I pulled up another tab, and I pulled up just the most recent sound signature review, and I'm scrolling down, and the shot dose scale for the suppression rating is right there on the page. This dose chart, this suppression rating dose chart, is in every review. Okay, it's above the table on the rankings page too. Actually, I just realized that. Go back to the. He's the creator of the Silencer Sound Standard, and he can't read it. No, that dose chart is actually it's right above the rankings table, in the rankings section in section 7 of the Silencer Sound Standard, and it gives you some peg points. Okay, it gives you some peg points that I chose to delineate reasonably practical zones of potential inner ear response from suppressed gunshots. Okay? And the important thing to understand is that the dose chart is based on hearing damage risk. Okay? So the lower you are on the chart, the higher the risk of hearing damage, and the less number of shots you can take in a dose without adverse effects. Okay? That's the big picture here. Okay, it's all in excruciating detail in the Silencer Sound Standard, but that's the takeaway. Okay, so it doesn't mean that the numbers are necessarily useless. Okay, because I've heard people say this. If you're only shooting one shot, for example, the higher number on the chart, the less potential damage that single shot has to your ear if you're the shooter or the bystander. You know, because I get a lot of folks like, well, I'm only shooting one shot, so I really don't care how loud it is. I don't care because you're saying, oh, well, this you could do a full range day, but I'm only shooting one shot, so I don't care what, where my where the suppression rating lies, and that might be true for you, but I don't want you to think that just because you're only shooting one shot that the rating is irrelevant. Okay, if you're only shooting one shot with your weapon, the higher the number on the chart, the less potential damage that single shot has to your ear if you're the shooter or the bystander. Okay, it doesn't matter. This is all a dose chart. So just because you're only shooting one shot doesn't mean that one shot can't still be severe. Okay, it just might be within a tolerable dose. Okay, these are nuances. One thing to keep in mind is that the suppression rating in the dose chart, like the one, like for example, like if that you see at the top of each review, like for muzzle and ear, and you can use that on the dose chart. It doesn't tell you about first round pop or FRP. It does not tell you about that. Okay, FRP first round pop is baked in. Okay, since it's gonna drop the 5-shot average if it's higher, right? But it's not explicitly delineated for you. So in a single shot scenario, if your particular silencer and weapon combination is louder than something else, like your system could maybe, I don't know, be quieter overall. Like, let's say you and your buddy both have systems and yours has higher FRP, and that's higher risk for one shot, but overall you have a higher suppression rate in your system. Well, overall your system's quieter, but your FRP might be louder. That can happen. Now, it just depends. It actually depends. Now, most of the time, FRP tracks with the suppression rate in relative fashion. But again, there can be exceptions, and usually those exceptions happen when the silencers are less advanced. But these are some things that can happen. Just so you know, it's possible. Now, we can. Okay, let's cut the brass tacks here, gentlemen and ladies. Let's pretend we're the shooter. We'll do some pretend time, some role playing here. Okay, let's pretend we're the shooter and we are only concerned about potential hearing damage to our ears as we shoot. So this is just us. You're by yourself. You have a gun, and you're going to be shooting, and you don't care who hears whatever, and no one's with you. You don't have your dog with you. Whatever, it's just you. And so you're just, and you don't have any hearing protection. It's just you, and you're going to be walking around your property. Okay, let's talk in the first person. We're the shooter. We're only concerned about our own hearing damage. And we're going to walk around our property and we're going to be looking for pest animals, and we're going to pop those pest animals in the head with our suppressed weapon as we find them. Okay, so let's pretend. Let's pretend we're patrolling our fence line. We're going to set some snares. And what are we doing? Well, we're out checking our snares. We're going to be out euthanizing some snared coyotes or raccoons or something that we caught trying to get in the fence. Okay, that's a real use case, right? Several farmers and ranchers have done that, where you have a fence line, you're trying to protect your livestock or whatever. You got coyotes coming in under the fence. You're like, oh man. So you put some snares out in those holes, and then you might check them, and you're like, oh, you got a coyote cutting a snare. He's not dead. Better pop him in the head there. Better kill him. Okay, and maybe that's a real use case. So maybe after that, maybe we're going to go back to the truck. Maybe we pass the old shooting steel there. Maybe we fire off some rounds because we're feeling confident in our shooting today. Maybe we forgot our hearing protection at home, and we only have guns and silencers and ammo in the truck. Because this is America. Okay, maybe that's our scenario. Okay, so what can we do? Well, we can go to the suppression rating dose chart, can't we? And we're like, okay, well, what does that mean? Well, what are we looking for? Well, I don't know. Let's go to the rankings table. Scroll down in section 7, and you can follow along at home if you want. It's fun. You can scroll down to the rankings table. We're not going to filter anything. We're not even selecting any of the drop downs or anything. We're just going to look at the whole table. What we're going to do is we're going to sort by shooter's ear suppression rating descending. The column almost all the way to the right. It says ear, and then it has shooter in parentheses. It says suppression rating. I'm going to click that. I clicked it once, and now it has a little arrow pointing down. That signifies that it has sorted all the records in the table by that column in descending order from highest to lowest. Okay. So what do you see? Well, what's at the top? Well, it's subsonic 22 bolt action, isn't it? Super quiet, guys. So you could use that to kill your coyotes. Like, that actually might be a perfect choice. I mean, this exercise could be done. I mean, done. I mean, look how much higher that suppression rating is compared to the next highest entry. Okay, you got two things in the 90s in suppression rating. Then you have, what do you have? 68.4 for the next one. What is that? Well, that's subsonic 300 blackout at the ear with a really quiet silencer. Okay, that's a pretty big difference. Actually, it's a monumental difference. Actually, so if you're going to venture out of 22 subsonic bolt action territory, if you're going to leave that comforting space, which, by the way, is spooky quiet. It's one of the quietest things you could possibly shoot. The quietest firearms you could possibly shoot. As soon as you venture out of that regime, bolt action, subsonic 22, as soon as you venture out of there, you're going to drop into the 70s and the 60s and stuff with extremely quiet silencers on a 300 blackout bolt action. See how that changes? I don't know, but I don't know, and you could do that. I mean, it's okay. Maybe you want to use an extremely quiet 300 blackout subsonic bolt action. You say, you know what? I need a little more oomph. I want confidence that I'm killing stuff. Maybe I want to shoot at steel a little later. Maybe I'm going to use a subsonic 300 blackout bolt action with a really quiet silencer. Okay. Then you could use one of those. But just know you're still really comfortable shooting it, but you're not nearly as quiet as the 22. Okay, 22 bolt action. Okay, well, but then you're thinking, God, 300 blackout ammo is so expensive. You're like, man, I don't really have that much of it. Oh, I didn't bring as much 300 blackout in the truck that I thought I had. It was just so expensive. I was kind of saving that. Well, okay, well, dang. Well, okay, let's go back to the table and keep going down. Well, what's the next quietest after all that quiet 300 blackout bolt action stuff that was subsonic? Well, let's keep going until we get to something that's not 300 blackout subsonic. Oh, 22 again. Oh, but this time it's on a pistol. Oh, it's on a semi-auto pistol. Huh. I thought 22 was quiet. Jay, you said that subsonic 22 suppressed was quiet. Well, I did. But now you're on a semi-auto pistol. Yeah. 22 subsonic is very quiet, but the host gun can make it kind of loud. So if you look at the subsonic 22 on a semi-auto Beretta 21A, that little pocket pistol that everyone says, oh, it's so quiet, It's not quiet. 59 at the ear with that, with a full-size full-size 22 silencer that's pretty quiet. Okay, it's not as quiet as you think, though, as the shooter. Now, you can still shoot it. It's not going to blow your ears out, but now you are just entering the zone of a range practice day without ears, Still going to dose yourself for that day, but if you have to do it, you can. Okay, you can. If you had to do it and not wear ears, you could. You could do it. You're entering that zone. Now, if you need to shoot that coyote and that snare, you're all right. Definitely. You know what would be safer for you than that quiet 22 semi-auto? A really quiet silencer and 300 blackout subsonic from bolt action. You see that. You see that it would be safer. Right? Now you see how you're starting to see how this table could be used. Good peg point. It's a good peg point with that little semi-auto 22. Now you can go up to a real quiet thing like the SIG SRD or the Hyperion on 300 blackout subsonic bolt gun. You see how that can get almost a category quieter than a subsonic 22 on a little subsonic 22 pistol, or I'm sorry, semi-auto pistol. Isn't that crazy? A Hyperion on a 300 blackout bolt gun, short barrel bolt gun, the little minifix, is quieter to the shooter than a super quiet 22 silencer on a little Beretta 21A with subsonic 22. Interesting, isn't it? Like this is real. Understand? This is real. So in both of those, even the Hyperion, that's over 20 points louder than a bolt action 22 to the shooter's ear. You see the spectrum? You see how big the scale is, the suppression range scale? Excuse me. Now you're understanding you're understanding the severity levels here. There's quite a big scale. And it makes you think when you can group things like this, right? Because now you can group things. You by the way, you cannot do this without the suppression rating. Like, you can't do this with a peak dB number. Like, I don't know how you would. It doesn't work. You can try it. It won't work. Okay, it's not going to give you useful information. That's why I encourage use of this table, because with the dose chart, because it's going to help you group bins of loudness. If the suppression rating is nowhere close, you can rest assured that the hearing damage risk is nowhere close. Okay? When someone says to you, "Oh, this weapon's it's about as loud as this," no. If the suppression rating is really far apart, then it's not just as loud as this or whatever. Use the chart. Because you're going to get lost. And this sorting it like this is really helpful. So let's say you're out of 22. And 300 blackout's too expensive. Well, crap. Now where are you sitting on the chart? Crap. You need to kill those coyotes. You can't just leave them there. They're sitting in snares. They're suffering. We don't do that. Okay? We're humans. We have a higher level of intelligence. We don't let living things suffer. It's not what we do. Okay? So you need to kill those coyotes. You can't let them suffer like that. So you go down further here, and all of a sudden you're going to hit 308 before too long. I mean, right after that semi-auto pistol, with a short 22 silencer, right after that you're hitting you're hitting 308 bolt action with quiet silencers. Holy crap. But you left your 308 bolt action gun at the house, didn't you? You didn't plan on shooting your 308 bolt gun today, so you don't have it in your truck. I mean, you could have shot like a Hyperion at the coyote, or maybe after FRP, maybe you shoot an Enticer L, because the Hyperion doesn't really have FRP on that host, and you could have shot the Enticer L or the Hyperion or something, or like a Nomad or something, Nomad L, on a 308 bolt, on a 20-inch 308 bolt action, and your hearing damage risk to the shooter from shooting that 308 is going to be close to that semi-auto 22 pistol with the 22 silencer in the short configuration there. Isn't that crazy? But that's how quiet a good 308 silencer on a 20-inch bolt gun can be. But that's also how loud a 22 host can be. You see, it works both ways, right? Makes sense, yeah? This is perspective. This is called perspective, okay? Look at this both ways. This is how quiet 308 can be. This is how loud 22 can be. You got to look at all sides. Everyone says 22 is quiet. Well, sometimes it is. Sometimes it's not. It depends on how you look at it, okay? So now that we've realized we don't have our 308 bolt, let's go back into our story here. Now that we realized we don't have our 308 bolt gun in the truck and it's at home, okay, let's keep going. Let's keep going down the table. What do? You're going down, boom, boom, boom. That's more 300 blackout, more 300 blackout, 300 blackout. Ooh, subsonic 9mm. Okay. Now we're into the 40 zone at the ear. Oh man, all of a sudden we're in the 40 zone at the ear, at the shooter's ear. It's getting louder, isn't it? It's getting louder. What are we at now? Well, RSP. Resilient suppressors RSP on the P30L, this pistol. I'll be damned. 45.1 at the ear. Well, I have a pistol in my truck. I have some 9mm. I have the RSP. Okay, I'll use that to kill the coyote. Okay, now 45.1 at the ear. That's not super duper quiet. No. But where is it? Well, it's in a zone that I could dump a few mags and be okay. Let's see. What does it say in the 40 zone here? What did I say on the chart? Limited practice. Yeah, okay. Yeah. I could dump few mags, and I could be okay with that. I'm not going to hurt myself real bad. You know what I mean? Now, is it quiet? 45.1 there. Is it quiet? Well, no, absolutely not. It's not quiet at all. That's what, remember my discussion earlier? No, it's not quiet, dude. That's not quiet. But it's not super loud. And for a lot of people, the 40 zone, that middle of that 40 zone at the shooter's ear, a lot of people, that's the minimum place they're comfortable with without ears on for field use. A lot of people. I actually fall into that category in somewhat. I actually, you know what? I told a story a while back about how I hunted with a Rugged Radiant on my 308 bolt action. I did. What does that have? I think it has, let's see. I know it's in the 30s. Scroll down. Okay. The Rugged Radiant in its long configuration has a 32.5 suppression rating at the shooter's ear. That is in the magazine or 2 zone. Basically, it's the lowest zone for several shots you can swing with a suppressed weapon without ears on. That's on a 20-inch gun, and I shot mine on a 16-inch gun. Hunting, didn't I? And the design of the Rugged Radiant is such that if it will get louder with a shorter barrel, and it will also be closer to the shooter's head, just because it's 4 inches shorter barrel, so it's 4 inches closer. And so I guarantee you that the suppression rating at the ear when I shot that gun, especially when I was low to the ground, was not in the 30 zone. My ears have some pre-existing damage, and so what it did, it made one of my ears slightly uncomfortable. My right ear, it made my right ear slightly uncomfortable. So what did I do? Well, I switched silencers personally, and this was in a hunting application. I was actually hunting. What did I do? I moved up. I think I went to at that time, a CGS Hyperion K. I think I went. It was about half a category higher, I want to say. Yeah, because it was shorter, it was lighter, it was quieter. I think it got me a 37.1 at the ear on the 20-inch gun. Yeah. And the CGS silencer reacts differently to high pressure, so I don't think the rating dropped as much as it did with the Radiant either, so when I moved to the 16-inch gun. So yeah, so by moving myself up half a category, I was better off. That's just a practical thing, okay? Now, what I also did is I later shot, and I think I talked about this on the podcast, I later shot the Helios QD TI on the gun, and that thing is well into the 40 zone, actually, isn't it? Let me see. Let's go up the list. Oh, I don't even know. It's not sorted by silencers, and I can't remember what the rating is. Oh, here it is. Helios QD solid bolt action 44.3. Okay, yeah. So it's in the 40 zone. You know what? Actually, that's really close to the RSP on the P30L, isn't it? Yes, 45.1 for the RSP, Helios QD 44.3. Okay, so super close. So isn't that different weapon systems, but there's the suppression rating, so you can actually compare the numbers. It doesn't matter what the weapon system is. You can compare the numbers because the suppression rating takes into account the whole signature. That's what makes it so powerful, right? You can't do that with anything else. You can't do that with PeakDB. So when I shot on the Helios QD, it was even quieter. I was like, wow. So I know without a doubt, I could take that P30L with an RSP, and I could kill some coyotes and snares without ears, and I could be okay. I know that because I know how loud the Helios QD is on a bolt action 308 because I've done that without ears. So just knowing that, I know. Just by looking at this chart, oh crap, the RSP is going to be putting me in the ballpark with my P30L with a Spear Lawman 147 grain ammo. Okay, I can do that too. I already know that, and I haven't even shot the RSP without ears. But I can tell you, I'm confident enough to know that the loudness is what it is. And I've shot other ones, so I have a peg point. So this right here that I'm telling you, that is a practical use case of the rankings chart of the dose, and with the suppression rating dose chart to help you. You understand? That's real data. That's quantifiable. That takes all your opinion out of it. Okay? Isn't that cool? So, okay, let's keep going. How are we doing on time? Okay, we're fine. 40 minutes in, that's fine. Let's keep going. Let's say you didn't have the RSP. You're like, oh, I don't have it. And you don't have your 308. Ah, crap. What are you going to do? You got to kill these coyotes, bro. Well, let's keep going. Let's keep going down the list. Okay, let's see. Am I still sorted by ear descending? I am. Okay, cool. So we don't have our RSP. 45.1. We're not there. Let's keep going down. What's next? 308. No, don't have that. Subsonic 3 blackout was too expensive. Oh, subsonic 9mm GSL Phoenix on the MP5. That's a sub gun. Okay. Oh no, we didn't bring. Oh, we forgot our MP5s, or we forgot our MP5 mags. Boo. We don't have any sub guns. Okay, we got to keep going down. Bum. Oh, we're gonna get to other pistol silencers. Oh, that's cool. Okay, what do we have here? We're sitting at the bottom of the 40 zone on the chart. We're just dangling here at the bottom of the 40 zone. What do you have? You go, well, Obsidian 45. Rugged Obsidian 45 on a 9mm pistol. Oh, that's weird. Well, why is that still in the 40 zone at the ear? Oh, well, it's a big silencer. Lower back pressure due to the huge bore. That's the only reason that thing is helping you on that pistol as the shooter, dude. So now as you continue down the chart, what happens? Well, it becomes painfully aware that you are going to be bottoming out with the 9mm pistol silencers at the ear on a handgun for killing these coyotes, or topping out maybe at a suppression rating. And your Mark 18 SBR, what does your Mark 18 SBR top out at? Oh, the Flow 556K, right? 31.8 at the ear. Because when you look at, you're like, okay, your 9mm pistol silencers at the ear is like 37, 36, whatever it is. I mean, if you don't have a 308, your next best bet, your Mark 18. To get 31.8 at the ear with that, you're going to have to use a Huxworks Flow 556K. So what does that tell you? What does that tell you, friends, about hearing safety? If you you can use a Mark 18. You can use your AR, really. You can use your 556 AR, the SBR. Your AR-15 SBR 556. You're going to use that to kill the coyotes, really? You are. Are you sure about that? And you think, what? You think you're going to get a higher suppression rate at the shooter's ear than 31.8 with the Flow on a Mark 18? Not so far. So where are you going to be sitting, right? Now you got to be thinking about your weapon systems if you're going to be walking around your ranch and you want to be shooting stuff. You got to start thinking about this stuff. Well, how loud do you want to be? Okay, then when you want to go shoot steel on the way back to your truck because you're feeling cool and you still don't have ears. Oh, how many rounds are you going to shoot? Think about it. Think about your risk. Okay, use the chart, guys. All right, I'm not going to tell you what to buy. I'm not going to tell you not to wear hearing protection. That's dumb. But what I am going to tell you is that this scale is a spectrum. It's risk-based, and it's intended to help you make smart choices. Okay, that's what this is. So please read it. Until you shoot something to get a peg point, you're going to have trouble understanding true, impulsive, suppressed small arm sound signature. I can tell you right now, in my principal area of practice, to really help people understand blast loads, what do? We put them in front of an explosion. Okay, so they can appreciate it. You can use a suppression rating chart to do that for a single shot. Okay? Use the dose chart. You can do it to understand the full gravity of a suppressed small arm gunshot. Okay? Don't do it with an unsuppressed gun. Use the dose chart. Be smart. All right? Just to give you a flavor, because once you have one sample point, and keep in mind FRP. Pick a silencer that doesn't have FRP. That way you'll be able to calibrate better. But pick a silencer that doesn't have FRP. And I'm not doing this so you can know what a suppression rating sounds like. I'm doing it so you can understand. I want you to look at the numbers so you can understand your risk before you do the experiment. Then once you hear it, I want you to understand, it can be that loud. Got it. I want you to have an appreciation for how loud something can be unsuppressed. How loud something can be suppressed without hearing protection. Because that's how you're going to be able to educate others and be able to tell them, hey man, I know you're shooting with a silencer, but hey, why don't you put ears on right now? We've been shooting a lot. Oh man, thanks. I wasn't thinking about that. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. And then your range buddies live to fight another day, and they live to hear another day. Okay? A nail gun's going to get you close to 9mm, kind of, when you hear it. But 9mm out of handgun, remember, it can be way louder than that to the shooter. So take this seriously, okay? I hope this helps. Okay. I really do. That was kind of like a public service announcement, but I think it's important. A lot of new listeners here. I want to make sure you guys understand, okay? Let's move into topic 2 at a time of 45 minutes and 23 seconds. Didn't want to be all preachy, but I do want you guys to understand your hearing damage risk, okay? You got to ask yourself, why aren't the silencer companies telling you that? And why is the American Suppressor Association telling you that you don't need hearing protection and all this stuff? And crazy. Topic 2, new sound signature review this week. That's right, long awaited. Yeah, I think so. I'm just excited to finally get this out to you. It's overdue, long time coming. It is a review that many people have been waiting for. It's finally here. You don't have to wait any longer, but you should buckle up. It's going to be a popular one. I know it is, and there will be tears. People will cry, but there will also be joy. There will undoubtedly be anger. That's right. I hope that the anger does not get directed toward Pew Science, because I am but the messenger. I mean, you no harm. No. But in all seriousness, the people who have been actually paying attention over the past few years to this effort are going to see the data this week, and they are not going to be surprised at all. No. However, due to the popularity of this data, or rather of this silencer, I have no doubt that many public discussions will take place, and I don't know what's going to happen. This is one of those ones where I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm going to kind of, what do? You light the bomb and you put it under the car and you just walk away? Not the car. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do something a little extra. Who, me? No, I'm going to do something a little extra. Pew Science members are going to get a special treat too. That's right. You guys are going to get something that will hopefully give both users of this silencer and prospective users of the silencer the most comprehensive information they need to make an informed decision on how to use the silencer. I think it'll be helpful. I know that if the type of information I am publishing this week was published back when I got into silencers, I would be a lot better off. I would. So I'm happy for you guys. I am. You're living in the future. You're living in 2032, baby. Pew Science. Stay tuned. It's going to be a banger. There might be memes. Who knows? I don't know. You never know what the memes do. It's like a whole ecosystem. Topic 3 at a time of 47 minutes and 59 seconds. Whitetail deer hunting. Guys, rifle season is starting in a lot of areas. In fact, in some of the managed properties, people have already been using rifle to take deer. And I don't know. I don't know if everyone's ready to hunt suppressed, and I know there are still holdouts, and I understand. Everyone has their own reasoning for doing or not doing things. But I do want to let you know that Pew Science members have created an ecosystem in which there's no longer an excuse. If you're on the fence because you don't know what's out there, it's nah, guys, the tools are here. The tools are here now. Unless you're living in a place that outlaws silencers and doesn't let federal law dictate that a tax stamp is a defense to prosecution, and you're really missing out. That's what it is in Texas, right? Texas lets us say that having a federal tax stamp is a defense to prosecution, and that's why we're okay with, because silencers are actually illegal in Texas. By Texas state law, you cannot have a silencer. And if you say that on the internet, like on a forum on a Reddit, you'll get downvoted to oblivion and everyone will hate you. But you'd be correct that silencers are in fact illegal in Texas. But there is a provision in the law that says it is a defense to prosecution to have it registered under the NFA. So a tax stamp is how you avoid going to jail in Texas, for example. That's just one state out of 50, but it is what it is. The amount of silencers appropriate for bolt action, center fire rifles is so high right now. Like there's so many different silencers, and there is so much dang data for that in the ranking section that we went through actually. And the first topic there today in the podcast, we went through that thought experiment, that example. There's so much data for those systems, the 20-inch 308, which is a great peg point for deer hunting. Just so you know, there's so much information. Please at least go check it out. And if you've been thinking about getting a silencer, look and see if it's in the table. If it's not, it just might be later. And Pew Science members have been contributing to the effort to help make that happen. Okay, so I want you to do something. If you do end up using this data, thank a Pew Science member. Okay, you may know more than one. You may know more than one member. They're out there. I think there's a secret handshake or something. I've been looking at you guys. A sure way to spot a Pew Science member is they're drinking beer, and it's not an IPA, and they're probably lifting weights, and they're probably super cool. I bet. I think that's right. No, I hope you guys have fun with the data this week, though. It's going to be a banger, as they say. It will be a good one for people, I think. I think it's going to help a lot of people. That's actually what I'm most excited about, being able to help a lot of people. Have fun, but not too much fun. What's the thing Grantham says? The comment section is out of control. Yeah, no, the internet is going to definitely have some discussions. Always use protection. Stay safe out there, friends. I will talk with you folks again soon. Stay tuned for data. Bye.